Welcome, everybody, to the seasonal diet, eating what our ancestors ate when they ate it, like we were evolved to do. I'd like to talk about the importance of boiling, especially in the European ancestral diet. Today, nobody boils their food anymore, but throughout history, we have so many written records, or of at least this being the primary method of cooking in Europe. What do we do today, right? We have nice kitchens, we chop up a little chicken breast and put that shit in the oven, saute some onions and mushrooms in the pan, maybe we do some pasta or vegetables on the pod, and then maybe we chop up a salad and sprinkle a little vinegar and oil on it, and then maybe take some bread, put it in the toaster as an appetizer with some butter and blah, man. You know how much of a bitch you look like doing all that? Seriously, no. This is not the European way to cook. They didn't have all this kitchen stuff and fancy utensils. Even if they did, it just wastes so much time, energy, and vital nutrients that you cook away when you do all these fancy kind of Eastern or even Southern European type of recipes. If you want to cook like a European, just throw all that shit into one big pot and boil it all up. That's how a beast cooks. I don't have time to fiddle around in the kitchen with all that other load of shit. Ancient Europeans did not have the time to do this either. And in fact, in the north of Europe, even when we go back to the historical records 100 years ago, 200 years ago, most families, most houses did not even have an oven. Most of their meals were all boiled together, possibly even grilled over a fire if they had a little way to grill it on some tongs or something. If there was a nice holiday, the only time they would use an oven is if it was like a special holiday, something like that. They would take their, pig, or they would take their turkey or their goose or whatever, and they'd actually take it to the baker in town, and that's who would bake their food. But most Europeans did not have an oven if we go back just more than 100 years ago. Like I was saying, the south of Europe and Eastern cultures and some different places in the world, they're a bit different. They had more things like stone or clay ovens, those types of things, and they had, more ingredients available to them at longer periods of the year, so they had a bit more time and resources to do all these fancy cooking preparations like you see on cooking shows. But really, even if we go back to ancient Roman times, about 2,000 years ago, even some of the earliest cookbooks were a lot more boiled dishes. So even for them in the south of Europe, their original diet for the longest time was a lot of boiling, and then this kind of modern cooking, the Italian and French cooking came up as we get a bit closer onto the modern day. But yeah, besides maybe roasting something on a stick over a fire, boiling in a big pot is the oldest method of cooking in the world, and for good reason. It's easy, just throw it all in there in a big pot. There's not much other work. It feeds a lot of people if you have a nice big pot, and most importantly, it keeps as much of the nutrition in there as possible. When you bake things or when you fry things, or even if you boil it and you throw away the water like so many people do, you cook some of those vital nutrients out of it and then you just throw it all away. But if you put it all together and you boil it all in one pot, the nutrients stay in there, and you can even drink the broth or use it in something else. This is the European way, especially in the north of Europe, but like I said, even in the south of Europe too, if we go back far enough in time. So I would love to see a lot more people making big pots of soups, stews, and even things like jambalaya or gumbo. I love that kind of stuff. Just put it all in the pots and eat everything. It's just so much easier way to cook. It's so much more natural, so much better according to tradition. But like I said, this all depends on your ancestry and where you are from in the world. How about you guys? Do you know any recipes? Where are you all from in the world? I know in the East they have some really good pots and stews. You have the curries and stuff. They boil all that shit in one pot too. So it's not just European, it is just a really beautiful natural way of cooking for all humans. So let us know, do you guys have any recipes, any favorite dishes you use a big pot for? Let us know in the comments.